right. Welcome. My name is Eric, and today I have here the lead artist for Walkscape. Many of you who have been following the game have noticed that one of the really great features of this game is that the art is beautiful. Like right here, we're on the title screen. This is just the login screen. But as you notice, it's really nice. And for those of us that have spent time in games that focus on pixel art, you'll notice that nothing here is generic. Everything's intentional, and everything is wonderfully designed. So I just wanted to welcome MAXCHILL to our talk here today.
Yes, thanks. Very warm welcome. Thanks. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
No problem. So now I noticed you're not at home in your living room.
Yeah, I'm mimicking what we do in our not occult meetings, which we often hold while walking. Shampoo does it on treadmill. I don't have a treadmill, so I'm just walking in the neighborhood.
Fantastic. Yeah. Because the funny thing is, once you start playing Walkscape, anytime you could have been walking feels like a bit of a waste of time.
Yep.
That's good. All right. Well, I want to get into the art here. So, okay, I think the title screen is a fantastic example of how you guys are doing things visually that aren't necessary but amazing, right? Like you could have just had a login screen, but instead there's like 4 seasons, and he's walking along and it's fun. What was the thought process around that?
Sure, I'll introduce to the menu, which usually when you see stuff that's on Walkscape that's like, as you said, doesn't have to be as it is, but we make it like a bit improved so it looks nicer. Those are usually ideas of Shampoo, because I'm a very lazy person, so I really don't like to set myself hard goals or work to do. But if Shampoo or someone else gives that to me, I'm always up to the tasks. And so the menu screen currently, as you wait for a login screen, which you shouldn't be usually taking too long to look at, like the login screen. Right. But sometimes when we have the maintenances or sometimes you have to wait there. And so we decided to incorporate like more visual pleasantness in forms of different landscapes, and all of those landscapes are not like random. They are each representing like a region in the game. So currently in the game there are 2 regions: the Grand Duchy, which is like marshlands, and the Gervonia, which is the snowlands. So those are the 2 we have, and we also have the Green Wallachia, which is for next to come, and eventually we'll have even more menu landscapes like this. When we add like a new region of the game, you will probably notice a new login view there.
Oh, that's
having a new landscape.
That's a little nice flavor. That's really good. Okay, so now that we're talking about the map, let's look at it. So I'm gonna log it. Oh, it's funny. I'm trying to click inside Zoom. So for those of you that are curious how I have Walkscape on a computer, Zoom has a feature where you can cache a phone. So I connected to this Zoom conversation with my phone, and you're literally looking at what's on my phone right now as I click around. Okay, so we're gonna look at this map, because honestly, as I discovered this game, the kind of like the scope of what you have developed already it's really impressive. So just for people to get a general look, I'm going to do just a swoop around of the map. I just want to show the scope of how big the game is in terms of how much map has been prepared. I should go slower because the thing's trying to catch up with my okay. So we have different continents, and I will be looking at each continent and kind of asking about it. But I want to show the scope of the game to start with. Okay, there's all these interesting islands that already have buildings and everything. Okay, all right. So here we are, Gervonia. Am I saying it properly?
Yeah, Gervonia. Well, Shampoo is the pronunciation master, so I
Right.
I just any pronunciation is good.
So you copy him. Okay. And I'll copy you.
Yeah, because I think the original, like, it would be Jarvonia, would be how Shampoo would said, and the J is like English style Jarvonia.
Okay, say the proper way again.
Jarvonia.
Ah, yes. Okay. Okay, so I know you're Polish. Is Shampoo what country is he from?
No, Eric, I'm not Polish. I am Latvian.
Oh, I thought you told me it was Polish. You told me it was Polish time zone.
Polish is the intern we have, Sorgo. She's from Poland.
Oh.
But I think we all have the Finland, Latvia, and Poland. We all live in the same time zone.
Okay, got it. Okay, I think at one point you told me you were in like the Polish time zone, and that's why I assumed you're Polish. Okay, my apologies. Okay, so let's talk about Snowland.
Sure.
Jarvonia. So this is the main starting point of the game, and my understanding, what I've heard from people, maybe I heard this from Flower Sister, I don't know, but basically, no, I think I heard this from Shampoo directly. This is going to be the part of the game that in the future is going to be like the starting zone.
Yeah, it will be the first place where people all spawn.
So what was the thought process around making the start of the game be a snowy wasteland?
Well, I think it comes from Shampoo being from Finland, and the northern vibe is something that's fun to him and to me as well.
Okay.
And I don't know, I think it's also maybe a slight nod to the Skyrim series, which also starts in the winter, because we had like this talk, where should players start in, but nobody opposed to like starting in the winter. Maybe now that I'm thinking, it's maybe a bit like bleak. It's all white, gray tones. It's hard. It's a bit like more challenging to make stuff interesting, I guess, or more flashy. But I think it also sort of lends itself to like the more serious vibe of the Walkscape. So I don't think like many typical mobile games would start their players in the winter zone.
It's true. Yeah. Usually games try to start their characters in a more lush or colorful environment. But again, going back to Skyrim, that's a fantastic example. Skyrim starts off with some criminals in a snowy wasteland. So it's really cool. And I think it's nice because even though Walkscape is based off RuneScape, the concepts of RuneScape, the idea of like gathering, because RuneScape was the first, in my knowledge, RuneScape was the first MMO to do the whole mine a rock, make a bar, make a tool, use the tool. Because I was around in the early MMO days, and I know that like Ultima Online, as far as I'm aware, was the earliest MMO, and that predated RuneScape. Yeah. But I don't believe Ultima did like a crafting system like that.
I don't know. Well, one thing that also feels special about RuneScape style, which is also in the Walkscape, that you don't need to have like multiple characters. That it's one character which can do everything. Because my game has always been MMO, the World of Warcraft, where you choose a class and you level it, and you're stuck with your choice. But in this style, it's one character for everything.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So very good. So I think a survival, like I know there are no survival mechanics in this game, but it's got a survival feel, right? You're fishing for food, you're gathering basic resources, and so I think snow lends itself to a very good introduction to that. And honestly, I looked at this map not long before, like before beta came out, before I knew that it started in Jarvonia. And when I saw that it started in the Snowland, and that would be kind of the starting area for the game going forward, I'm like, I really like that choice because that's the first place I wanted to go. In fact, when I was making my character, I thought that I had chosen the Snowland. I thought that I had choices.
Right.
Really, it was just a preview.
You're also Canadian, so I can see the appeal to snow.
That's true.
I think maybe like somewhere somehow it's that Northerners need more Walkscape than Southerners because they already have a good weather and many more in the motivations to go and walk. We living in this a gray country, we need Walkscape to walk.
That's true. And I remember reading from the beta notes. So I only discovered this game like a day before the deadline for wave 1 closing. I literally discovered it. Like it was November 1st was the deadline, right? For supporting for beta.
So you're quite a late joiner, actually.
I am a late joiner, absolutely. And so what I do every once in a while is I go on YouTube or Reddit and I look for location-based games because I've always found that gameplay fascinating. I just finished playing another location-based game, but I was kind of done with it because there wasn't much longevity in it for me. And then I was on Reddit and I discovered someone talking about Walkscape and how they're waiting for it to come out. I'm like, wait a second here. What's this game I'm hearing of? And then I go on YouTube and I watch like one of your like 3 YouTube videos you had at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is really good. Because I watched your trailer of like this guy, you know, I guess it was shampoo in a cape walking, right? And it showed a few like clips of stuff. Anyways, I was excited then. But anyways, what's my point? My point is that I saw the visuals. And like, I don't typically play games for visuals. I'm more of a progression-based person. So if something looks pretty, but it's like there's no depth of progression, then like I'm out very fast. But since there's depth and longevity in this game, the visuals just make it so nice. So here, let's look.
And that's also like a topic I've been thinking about. Like the people like giving feedback in the beta about the art related topics. That's like we have least amount of feedback reports about it and stuff like that. And I understand because people like they won't play a game when it's like super bad looking or super incohesive. But as long as it's like medium to good, they will not like pay much attention to it. But then again, I also agree to that art is important like for eye catching. I guess when people will be scrolling through games on Play Store and stuff like that, when you have the screenshots there, it can catch attention. So it is important to have a good art after all, I think.
It is, and I think being pixel art, it changes the landscape even more, right? Because for example, here, like I just clicked on the capital. I'm looking at the art for Gervonia, and I realize this isn't pixel art, so I'm going to guess that you didn't make this.
No. So the location artwork is made by AI. It's something that couldn't be possible like 2 years ago.
Yeah, right.
But we decided to go that route because the location art, it would take a lot of time to produce.
Yes.
And somehow that's something people like, I don't know. We had feedback like, can we like not show the location art so big when you open the location window? And so that's like the first thing people wouldn't like mind missing is the location art. So
but what would it be replaced with? Because you can't have an empty space. Like what would it be replaced with?
Yeah, true. You can't have an empty space, but it's also like not a main focus. Like you see it once, and then you forget about it. But we have also incorporated the location artwork in the profile picture background, so you can see the same city behind yourself.
Yeah,
you can see it behind your character.
Yeah, and if you pick a dynamic background, one thing that I found interesting is that you have a choice when you're making your profile about whether you want to pick a static background or whether you want it to be a dynamic background based on where you are.
Yeah, I'm not sure if like non-dynamic backgrounds will stay, but the idea behind those is that eventually maybe you would have like unlockable backgrounds that are unique, and then you could choose them to always show. But I personally, I like the dynamic background always on.
Me too.
Because I like it when I'm looking at the leaderboards and I see like players in the top leaderboards.
Yeah.
and I see that they have progressed further in the game, and they are in a location I don't know.
Yeah.
I can already see it behind their characters, so it kind of gives me a motivation to also uncover that location.
Yeah, I just pulled open the leaderboards, and so yeah, I really like that. I really like that you see the location of someone. So, for example, I'll tell you how it's useful to me. So I'm doing mining, and I'm opening up the mining leaderboard here. I'm number 2, but I have like half the experience of the person number 1. That's what's fascinating about this game. There are some people that are just like superstars. You'll never touch them. But anyways, so basically, it allows me to kind of spy on my competition, because for a while I'm like, oh, maybe I'll be first place. Maybe I'll be higher than the Scissor, if that's how I say their name.
Yeah.
But you can kind of spy on how much time your competition spends in certain places. So if you're like competing with someone on the mining leaderboard, for example, and you notice they haven't been in a mining location for a while, you're like, ha, I'm going to gain progress on them because they're doing something else in the game right now.
You can kind of stalk other players.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So, like, for example, this is the mining leaderboard. As you can see, I'm not mining at the moment. I came to town because I wanted to show town, but usually I'm in Segwaying Hills as well as Scissor. But so that's the mining board. But what I also like doing, as you said, is going to total steps, going in first place, and seeing what the top steppers are up to. Now, for anyone who's watching, this tanky person at the top who is 3.36, that's one of the people like me who got glitched on their steps. The game counted like a couple weeks or a month's worth of steps accidentally, and Shampoo's fixing all that. But so from Weasel downward, so I'll actually go like this. From Weasel downward, I believe these are all legitimate steps. So, but that's interesting that Weasel is in first now. No, I guess Weasel's been in first for a while, hasn't he?
Yep.
This has been second for a while. Okay. So yeah, so it's cool because you can see what they're doing, you can see what they're up to, and well, I would say it's almost the first MMO feature.
Yeah, I was wanted to mention that. Yeah, we were always looking for ways to make this feel more like MMO, because we won't have like a typical, I don't know, RuneScape, for example. You go to the city and you see a lot of players there, and that's how you know you're playing with other people. So we have to find new ways that you can feel the people around you, and Leaderboards currently is the place you can do it because you can see yourself like Weasel in Frostbrook Mountains. You know the people are all over the region, and kind of makes you not feel alone. World.
Now that we're on the topic of MMO, what are some of the other MMO features that are kind of on the priority list?
The friend list, I think, is the first, and because I already, for example, have a friend chat with my Latvian friends who are playing, and we're sharing stuff there, and it's going to be just so much easier than we can see each other through the game. So friend list, and I think the trading, and I agree that I didn't think of trading being so important, but now that I see that Walkscape can truly function as an MMO, I think this interaction that will come from trading, I don't know, on Discord, for example, selling stuff and buying, wanting to trade for something, is going to be really cool for communication with other players.
That is very cool. Is trading planned to come before like a market grant exchange? Like, are you guys planning to do trading as the initial way to get items back and forth?
I don't know the specifics about how trading will be implemented. That's all in Shampoo's head.
Okay. my curious mind is coming up. Some of these questions I'll be sure to ask Shampoo. But so let's see. Okay, let's go back to town. Let's talk about Jarvonia and town. So usually I mine, so I'm usually in the mountains, but today I brought some of my ore down to town so that we could look at town and we could talk about it. So the first thing that I wanted to look at was how you guys are handling like the buildings.
All right.
So, like, look at this. I mean, obviously, you've looked at this. You've made this. You've handcrafted it. We're inside the Icy Goblet, which is a town. I'm looking at this shop, and I'm looking at, a fireplace that's glowing. I'm looking at candles that are glowing. I'm looking at some really interesting foods on the table. Like, what is the thought process that you go through when you're crafting one of these many stores that are in the game?
Okay, so I'll tell you a story about how we designed the stuff for a long-term investment, similar to the same as how we have the profile picture maker, which we plan to use when we made the tool to make the character profiles. We decided that we're gonna both use it for games non-player characters, and we'll give it to players to make their own characters. So it's a more work to plan that out, so it works, but it's gonna be less work over time because I won't have to make every NPC like separately and stuff like that. And similar thought process went into the buildings because we knew that we want to have like player housing eventually,
Nice.
something that people can decorate and upgrade, have both cosmetic purpose and also like function as, I don't know, you can build your own services at your house and have a garden there and stuff like that.
And that would use a carpentry skill, right, to make that?
Yeah, carpentry would be like, I don't know, make some walls, make furniture for it, more make services, I don't know, your own forge, for example.
Amazing.
And something like that. And
Cool.
so also, we don't have the player housing in the game, but we already have the infrastructure to make the player housing because most of the stuff you see in the shops will also be reused and available for players to their own house. So, for example, here you see the fireplace and the sofa, the barrel, and you could potentially unlock all those things to also have in your house. And so again, really cool. Yeah, we're planning how to, as we're a small team, and we're trying to allocate our resources smartly. So it's usually more headache for like a month when I'm setting up these things and iterating. But over long term, it's very beneficial to have it set up this way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I'm just going to go through a few more of the shops here in town. Okay. So, and these NPCs, I understand that their assets came from your character creator. So for anyone that hasn't played this game, when you log into the game, you get to make your character. You get to pick. Okay, so can you tell me? Okay, so instead of me describing it, can you tell me some of the features you built into the character maker as far as what kind of aesthetics you get to customize?
Well, we have built a very advanced character maker for pixel art, almost like in some way mimicking how you would have like character creators in 3D games where you can choose nose, choose your eyes, so you can customize your character pretty in depth. And we wanted to have something similar pixel art wise. So also I calculated the options like mixing because there's, I don't know, almost 40 hairstyles, 10 different like facial hairs, 30 outfits, and all of those numbers are just going to grow. So the options are going to be more and more available to everyone. And I hope that was like the first thing I did when open beta come out. Closed beta. I just sat in the leaderboard and scrolled through and checked what characters are people
That must have been fun.
That was I was very eager to see what people will create with the character creator, and I'm very happy we get the variety. Yeah, you can see in the leaderboards, you'll see many different characters. You can make funny characters, you can make serious characters. It's all possible. Currently, not possible to change anything about your chosen, but eventually we will have wardrobes. You can change your outfits, change your look, and also like unlockable things. So you will be able to, I don't know, kill a boss, unlock a really cool looking crown, equip it on your custom PFP, and then somebody sees it on the leaderboard and also wants to get the crown. So we're looking for ways to so people can find their own goals in the game
And
through looking at like
would those
other
cosmetics
players.
be tradable, or would they be locked to your character?
I think cosmetics are going to be something that's not tradable.
Okay, so that's really great. Yeah, the character maker is really great. And for anyone that doesn't have the game right now, you can actually go online and play around with the character maker. They have a web version of it, and you can like edit your character and all that stuff.
Yep.
You can download a picture of it, play with it, use it as a profile picture, and then when you play the game, you can just recreate the same character if you wanted to.
Yeah, we also want to add the option to export your character picture from the game, so you can use it on Discord or other like platforms as your profile picture.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic. All right, I wanted to talk about some of the action animations. So I'm gonna start making. I guess I'll make a couple bronze bars here. Oh wait. Okay. So for example, here's smithing. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually one of my favorite animations. Period. I just like that little jiggly anvil.
It's kind of very cartoony because I don't think the anvils jiggle like that in real life.
Right. Yeah, it seemed like a safety hazard. So can you tell me the art process for making the assets for an animation?
Yeah, well, the asset part is very simple. As you can see, there's two sprites, the hammer and the anvil, and actually it's animated by Shampoo through code. We made these very early in the game, and I just made the sprites. And in one evening, he sat down, and I don't know how he does it through code, some coding magic, and he made them move in a very satisfying way. So yeah, so Shampoo also has a good eye for satisfying, catchy animations like that.
Yeah, it's really impressive. That's a really important skill set for like such a small team, for everyone to be able to do a little bit of something. Okay, so I went into my bank and I pulled out one of everything that I have.
Nice.
I'm just going through it now, and I'm just showing the variety of items that you've made. There's a whole lot more that I don't have.
Yeah.
But like, for example, like I pulled out like all my pants. I mean, I pulled out everything that I have and all my boots. And I'm like, there are so many variations of pants and boots.
Yep.
And there's just variations of everything. Cause like, for example, there's crafting boots and there's steel toe boots. Obviously half of it is the same assets, but of the boots that is, but the other half of boots is like, you made everything unique and distinct. You could have made like every boot look exactly the same, but you didn't.
Well, it comes from like with pixel art in Walkscape. I covered almost all like bases of pixel art. We have isometric pixel art, we have profile picture pixel art, we have map pixel art, and of course the bread and butter, we have the sprites, the 32 by 32 pixel sprites we're looking at right now. And I really enjoy making them because each sprite takes for me, I don't know, 10 minutes maximum.
Okay.
So for example, very late into the development, at the very close to the, I don't know, like 3 days before the closed beta launched, we had like a talk that we need way more items. So Floor Sifter made a list of 100 items to add.
Wow.
And I just very focusedly worked them through like in one day. I made 100 sprites, and I can work very fast when needed. And I enjoy the process a lot because it's quite simple. And it's interesting, yeah, as you mentioned, having like small changes to the sprites. I'm always thinking about how to use my time efficiently. And if I can change just something little, but it gives like a new look, I'll go for it.
Yeah, like even your logs. Like I'm looking at all these logs here, and they're satisfyingly different. Thanks.
Yeah, each log has the inside part of the log. I actually like Googled every log I made, and I checked how the insides look. So I tried to make every the inside part of them different.
That's cool. Like I think very few people would catch on to that it actually matches the wood. But from the user experience, it's just really cool that each one looks different.
Yeah. And we have like some parts are problematic. We've heard like about the bars, like copper bar and bronze bar are quite similar. Iron bar and steel bar are quite similar, but sometimes we have to cut losses there when like I don't know. Only we also have heard like planks are a bit too similar to each other, and it's hard to discern them only visually.
Yeah, but that's fair. I mean, that's going to be forgiven. I mean, how can you make planks of wood look drastically different?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we also have you always have the
Like, it's going to
also
look
the name.
tacky if like each plank of wood is a different. It's like, oh, it's the blue wood. Oh, it's the red plank. Oh, it's the yellow plank. Like, it's going to look really tacky. So,
Yep.
even the rope. Look, tough rope and rope are just different colors.
Well, yeah, but also there's very small change. I don't know if you can notice it, but the side parts, one has two on the one side, and one has one on each side.
See, like, that's entirely unnecessary, because most people would never put two items side by side. One is an agility item, the other is a crafting material. So, like,
yeah, I don't, because I do it because it takes so little time. Like switching like rope one side to the other takes me like 15 seconds.
wow.
So I do it.
Yeah, I guess when you build it by hand. Okay, I really wanted to talk about the tool section. You have some really neat concept and some really neat art for some of the things. I want to use shovel axe as an example. I had mentioned this in one of my other videos, but basically it's for those of you that don't know, it's a tool it's the only tool that I know of, the only primary tool that functions in two ways. So I was wondering if you could tell us just what the functionality of it is, what it does, but also how you go from a creative idea to implementation and the visualization.
Sure, yeah. Shovel axe is I guess the best item currently in the game because it gives bonuses to two skills, which is the mining and woodcutting, and it's also important because you have limited tool slots, which you unlock by leveling up. But sometimes you won't be able to have a tool for all of your skills, so you have to swap around them. But shovel axe is different. You can use them for multiple skills, which is pretty cool. And well, how do I go about it? Well, there's not much, I think. Creative process. You just slap on two blades of the axe to the shovel.
So okay. So did like Shampoo just say, "Hey, I have this idea for an item. It's going to be a shovel axe. Can you draw a shovel axe?"
Yeah, we basically have something similar to Google Sheets, where we add items and then we make them. And this is again the part of me where I prefer if others give me like the task, write the items, either floor sifter or shampoo. Of course, I still do it myself, but when I'm writing the ideas for myself, I always, I don't know, downplay them because I know that I'll have to make them. And so my thought process is different. I take in consideration how hard it would be to make or how difficult do I have to start from a scratch. So I will usually choose ideas that are simpler. But when we get like suggestions, I don't know, from the chat or from like our supporters or like floor sifter shampoo, they don't care. They're not making the art, so they don't think about how hard it's going to be to make. So they just write whatever they want, and then I never turn down a challenge, but I do turn down the thinking of it myself.
Very cool. All right. Well, you know what? This has been fantastic, and it really would be great to circle around at some point in the future and talk more. But I want to thank you for your time today.
Sure.
I really wanted to thank you for your work on this game. Because again, you had mentioned that people don't talk about the art a whole lot. They talk about game mechanics more. And I think that's true because people have a lot to say about what they like or don't like about game mechanics. Art is like, well, there it is. So I either like it or I don't. And so I'm not going to complain or anything. But I love the art. I really think it adds to the overall quality of the game.
Yep.
We were talking about the title screen and how, like, you know, you're really not meant to be there long, but it's just the first impression. Someone downloads this game, they open it. Those title screens are going to say a million things about the game even before they get in.
Yeah, like for new players, I think it's important that there can be a lot of quitting point for a new player, and the
100%.
quitting point can include different things. I don't know if login is hard, it can be a quitting point, or if you don't like how the title screen looks, it can also be a quitting point. So, yeah,
100%.
I saw that in your inventory you also have the regular shovel, and you can see that the legendary shovel axe is just the regular shovel with blades attached. There's nothing too epic about it.
There's my shovel.
Yeah, simple mining shovel.
Yeah, simple mining shovel. And then comparing it to this, yep, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, that's really that's fun. I like that. I like that it's just the thing with the blades on it. That's
I never expected when I made the shovel axe. I didn't know there wasn't any like indication that that's gonna be best item in the closed beta.
So, yeah. That's so
the look epicness is not always tied to like the rarity of the item.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's great to hear from you. I think a lot of people will hear things that they didn't know. It's great to see you and meeting the personalities of the team is fantastic because I know a lot of us are invested in this game and want to play long term. Thanks for your work and
Thanks for inviting. It was fun to talk about it. Yeah, and the community is also very tight, I think, because I just can thank this community supporting us and making this development possible the way it's been possible so far.
Fantastic. So right now it's closed beta, which means for those of us that are playing, we got in on the first round, which was on January 18th. The next round of closed beta is going to be out very soon. The dev Shampoo just put out a post saying that it should be in about 2 weeks. So a little less than 2 weeks from now. So if you're interested in being part of wave 2 of closed beta, you are in time to do that. So head over to walkscape.app, walkscape.app, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And you can make an account and you can support through either Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. And that will give you access to play on round 2. Anyone who supports at least once in any amount. And again, it's not super expensive. The cheapest option is like $3. So it's not going to break your bank. For those of you who supporting isn't an option, there is the option to fill in a form and kind of be more selected at random to join wave 2 of the beta. For those of you that maybe you're from a country where they can't process Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. So that's an option too. But I highly encourage you to support this game. After closed beta is finished, there will be open beta and there will be a wipe in between. So this is the temporary testing period. If this is something you're interested in, I highly encourage you to join. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And
yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too. Bye now.